Hello, and welcome to another episode of The Health Innovator from SoMeDocs. My name is Donna Coriel. I'm a board certified internist and the creator of SoMeDocs, and I'm really excited to bring you yet another innovator in our series. Here is a little spiel about me, and our innovator today is Dr. Chrystene Nguyen. Did I say that correctly?
Pretty close. It's such a tough last name to pronounce, but if you say like Wen, like Win, I think
Oh,
that's pretty good. So, but
okay.
you did great.
I love it. So I'm going to say when, and now I'm going to know how to pronounce it. Perfect. Is that always how it's pronounced? Or do different people want
You
it
know, it
pronounced
depends on who
different
you
ways?
ask. Yeah, but I think, most of us, the fact that you're even trying, to pronounce it, I think it's just so adorable and cute that we love it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't bother me. So, any variation close enough because it's such a tough last name to pronounce.
I
So
appreciate
thank
it
you
so
for asking.
much. It's interesting because my maiden name was very tough to pronounce. It was Lazarevici, and no one could get it straight. So I always needed to sort of tell people if they even cared. I mean, I'm not someone that really minds if someone butchers my name as well, but I get you. So my apologies. And when Dr. Wen. Um,
Likewise, thank you.
sure. Tell us a little bit about your training first.
I'm a family physician in Southern California. I did my undergraduate studies at UCLA, woo-hoo,
Woo!
and then my medical school training at UC Davis. And after that, I went to Long Beach Memorial for my family medicine residency. So yeah, so I'm a California gal,
Fabulous. And you're family medicine trained, so that's
family
great to
medicine
know.
trained, correct? Yes.
Great. Now tell us about your innovation before we dive into the other. And the other on this particular series focuses on you, the actual innovator.
So my innovation, so gosh, it's called White Coat Romance, and it's currently a Facebook group. It's a community of single healthcare professionals that we brought together, and this it really all started came out of COVID-19 quarantine is all how this all started, and it started because I was feeling just briefly, I was feeling very isolated, and I knew I wasn't alone. I hadn't seen family or friends like most of us in healthcare, and I knew that there were a community of other healthcare professionals like myself who was feeling the same, and so and then also just seeing what our fellow colleagues, our physician friends are doing to support one another in the community during this quarantine. I was feeling so inspired by all the work that you're doing and all of our fellow physician friends are doing that I felt like I needed to do my part along with just feeling that isolation. And so that's how White Coat Romance came about, is this Facebook group platform where it was a way to support one another. It was a way to virtually, mingle and make new friends and perhaps, romantic connections can come out of it. And it's just been so much fun. And then I realized after a while that, we wanted to reach a broader audience. And, as we all know, like finding our romantic partner is it's one of the biggest decisions that we can make in life. And so that's how it evolved to me now developing the White Coat Romance dating app. It's certainly something I thought about even before the Facebook group, but I think it really helped. It motivated me to want to take this to a broader audience. And so I'm super excited. That's sort of been in development for, gosh, a good number of months now. So that's kind of where we're at. And I'm hoping to make a change and, bring happiness, add happiness to the lives of healthcare professionals that we all, deserve.
Very cool. And before we get to you, I'm actually curious, has anybody actually teamed up or become partners from the Facebook group as far as you know?
There have been certainly a number of members that have, been interacting and gone out on dates. Some
Oh,
of it I hear about, and some of it I know I don't hear about. And there's certain some that are brewing currently, and can't really
fabulous.
talk about.
Of course.
But I think a big part of it is it's just the friendships that are formed, and
Beautiful.
sometimes I think you really need to lay that foundation of friendship and get to know each other, and then let's see what happens from there. So I'm so
Wonderful.
excited with
I'm
everything that's
excited as
happening.
well. I'm
Yeah.
excited to see how this helps and how this impacts the lives of professionals, because I think it's such a great idea, actually. And so let's talk a little bit about you, because we're
Oh, thank
interested
you
in
so much.
you, of course. When you shed the white coat, who are you?
When I shed the white coat, gosh, I know we are a lot of things, right? We're not just the white coat, exactly like what you said. Um, I'm, you know, I'm just like everybody else. I come from a really large family of like 8 children, so lots of nieces and nephews, and so really wonderful family, really wonderful upbringing. I'm a loving sister. I'm a loving daughter. I have a lot of friends that I'm just feeling so blessed in life about, and I have a lot of activities that I enjoy doing. I also, aside from family medicine, I recently, as in like in November, became board certified in lifestyle medicine as well. So that's sort of
Fabulous.
like a new passion that came out of COVID as well. When as I met other physicians and sort of brought my interests. And so that's something that I'm not quite sure where I'm going to do with yet, but it certainly became a piece of even with white coat romance, because I learned the importance of community and social connection, which is one of the pillars of lifestyle medicine. So that became a really big piece of how even white coat romance, I think, came about as well.
Fabulous. Fabulous. So with that, run us through a typical day in the life of Dr. Wen.
So, Dr. Nguyen, so I used to do primary care. That was a big part of my life, a big part of my identity. And about a year and a half ago, I switched over to doing urgent care. And so that's what I do on some days. And it's nice to have the flexibility now. And so on the days, I work my urgent care shifts, which can be quite long. Um, and then aside from that, it's really nice to have a break in between just to catch up with life and self-care, catching up with family, although pretty much virtually still these days for me because I do work in urgent care, so I haven't unfortunately seen as many of my family. In fact, only two of them to date.
Oh,
So we
wow.
keep in touch virtually. Yeah, so that's been really tough. But I feel really blessed because then I have the flexibility to be able to enjoy a lot of things in life. I'm huge on I love the aerial arts. That's a big passion of mine that I guess if you're ever friends with me on Facebook, you'll see my videos. And I enjoy cooking, and so a big part of, COVID has allowed me to really experiment with a lot of new recipes that I've
Hmm.
learned. And so it's really nice, right, to be able to make all these new friends with our physician colleagues and learn from each other. And a big part of that was just, learning all these new recipes. And then certainly the White Coat Romance group, it takes up a huge bulk of my time between the Facebook group and just, developing the app, and learning like all the pieces of what it takes to create the app, right? Learning the business entity of it, kind of setting all of that up, and then learning all the tech stuff that my brother-in-law, who's the developer, is explaining to me. And it was obvious like, can you say that again? I can't really follow.
Right.
So this has been such a huge learning curve in so many ways. I have no business background, I have no tech background, and just kind of, yeah, just learning along the way and just enjoying my time and with all the new friends that I've made from the group.
Great. So you kind of exemplify the professional who has an idea and maybe needs to outsource to get some help to actually make it come to fruition, it sounds like. Would that be an accurate description?
Absolutely, absolutely. And so that's why I'm so grateful that you created this platform for us
For
physicians,
sure.
yeah,
Yeah,
to
to
bring
get
our
the
teams
word out.
together.
Absolutely. Because I would love for people to identify and maybe reach out and maybe either offer you collaborations or connections that can help you to pursue this further. So Is there an interaction that you've had in life that has helped shape the current venture that you're on, the current innovation?
Yeah, certainly. Being a part of, really a lot of all this kind of started, I have to give a lot of credit to the Leverage and Growth Accelerator group that Peter and Pranay are, have built. And it was the Leverage and Growth Summit that really started kicking off all the ideas and, changing my mindset and being a part of the group. And again, just being surrounded by a community of physicians who are so inspiring and just seeing all the cool, wonderful things they're doing really did inspire me to want to do more. And it
Right.
was around that time where I wasn't working as much in urgent
Mm.
care early on in COVID.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the clinics were closed and patients were really afraid to go to clinic. And so I had the time off and just I think and then from there I met some of the physicians, learned about lifestyle medicine, and between the community and what I was going through and my family was going through and what my friends were going through, I think all that really shaped, sort of where I'm at today with the
Right.
White Cross project.
Wonderful. Wonderful. What is a really interesting part of your life that you can share with us?
Really interesting part of my life. Gosh, I don't know
And
if
if you
there's
don't know, it's
certainly
okay.
I
We
don't
can
know that
skip to the
there's
next question.
I don't know that there's certainly one thing, but I'm definitely feeling like I'm this work in progress. And I have to say that it's just been really amazing, sort of the evolution that I've sort of gotten to where I am right now. Um, just I surprised myself. I think I don't know that so much of it is interesting for other people, but it's interesting for me is really what I want to say.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Now we're going to keep it a little bit light. We're going to take a light turn and ask you if you are team coffee or if you're team tea. And then we want specific.
That's such a tough one. I love coffee, I love tea, but if you really, really, really had to push me to pick, it would certainly would be, I think coffee would win for sure. Yeah.
We get a lot of coffee there. Any particular flavor that you enjoy?
Ooh, I love around the holidays, the pumpkin spice is one of my all-time favorites.
That's
The
yummy. I
chestnut
like that
praline, gosh,
too.
hazelnut.
Yum.
Yeah.
Right. The yummy flavors of the holiday. I
Sometimes
love
I
that.
yeah, and sometimes I feel like I'm a little coffee for my cream and sugar. I don't know. Um, Yeah, but it's it's
Fabulous.
it's so enjoyable.
Absolutely. Now, do you have a resource in particular that you suggest or that you can recommend? It could either be a book or a podcast or a television show or anything that you've consumed lately.
I am a huge podcast junkie. I love podcasts, and I think it's great to listen to a diverse range of podcasts. I don't know that there's one in particular, but I like listening to the all the different ones from a lot of it having to do with like mindset,
Right.
because I think that's such a big piece of all this.
Mm,
It's all about our mindset, and I
right.
think it's always good. And this is something that is very new for me. Growing up and the whole issue with money and finances and just being business savvy. So I've recently sort of gotten a lot of interest in listening to a lot of business podcasts and just being smart about it because as physicians, it's not something that we had learned about.
Hmm.
And it's such a big piece of kind of where we're at now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I
Mhm.
think it's the opposite of being a doctor. I think with
I
business,
know.
you've got to be on your toes and a bit more aggressive. And when you become a physician and you're an attending, you can sort of take a bit of a more altruistic approach. So, do you have any weaknesses or any pitfalls that have helped you to shape you into a stronger person that we can learn from?
Oh my goodness. Oh God, this is gonna take all day. It's I don't, yeah, yeah, and I've sort of mentioned a number of them along the way, and a big part of it is not having any tech background. Although I've always been fascinated with tech, but kind of learning about all that,
Right.
the business. aspect of things. Like I've never, I've always been in the past a W-2 employee. So this is all very new to me, because a big part of, this dating app is creating this business venture, which I don't have any background on. And then
Right.
certainly the social media, right? So that's, if anything, I think that would be my biggest weakness of all. Before all this, I was never much of a social media person, but I've quickly realized the importance, and you've highlighted that so well in so many ways. That it's so important to get our voices out there, to sort of amplify ourselves. We all
Yeah.
have so many wonderful messages
Yeah.
to give and provide,
For sure. I
and
think we
but
need
yet
to
a lot
take.
of us don't know how to do that, and I and that's certainly me. I had to learn how to, I finally created an Instagram account. I didn't even know how to use it. I'm still learning how to use LinkedIn.
Right.
Facebook was the only thing I was ever on. Twitter, forget about it, or Pinterest. So this is like a whole new language that I am, needing to learn at this point. And so I am so excited to be a part of the SoMeDocs community, and to learn along with everybody else and support each other.
Fabulous. Yeah. Yeah. When you take the social out of social media, then it becomes more apparent why professionals would want to use the social media world to, get more visibility, get connections, and to really market themselves as intellectual property and their products. So last but not least, what if you could have one ask that you ask the people that are listening to this episode, what would it be?
I sincerely ask if everyone can do me a favor, if you can spread the word, spread the love about White Coat Romance, and let our wonderful community of healthcare professionals know about this White Coat Romance dating app that's in development. And I'm so excited because we're getting so close to releasing it. My hope is maybe in about 2 weeks that the beta version will be available. And then from there, we're thinking maybe another month to sort of fine tune everything. And it's going to be so exciting. The app is going to be free for everyone to use. And my hope is to get the word out there so we can get the volume and perhaps get the attention of sponsors and advertisers to help me fund it.
Very cool. All right. So I'm going to just flash that, which is the whitecoatromance.com URL link that people can check out. And I thank you so much for coming on, Dr. Chrystene Nguyen. Check her out. And thank you again for tuning in to this episode of The Health Innovator. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Donna.